When he was running for office, Donald Trump made it clear that he wants to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. Now, this would obviously be welcome news for seniors, but how likely is it that this can actually happen? I think there's one key factor that is going to prevent this from coming into law, or at least make it very challenging, which I'm going to get to that in a quick sec. But first, let's think about kind of the background of these Social Security benefit taxes. So the thresholds for Social Security benefit taxes were put in place in 1984 and have not been indexed for inflation and have not changed since. So the way it works is they take your adjusted gross income, excluding Social Security, they add back non-taxable interest. So for instance, if you have a municipal bond, and they take half of your Social Security benefit, and that is your combined income. And then depending on how much your combined income is, you may or may not have to pay taxes on your Social Security benefits. So if you're married filing jointly and you make under $32,000, you pay no taxes. If you make between $32,000 to $44,000, you can pay up to 50% of the taxable amount above that $32,000 threshold. And if you have a combined income of more than $44,000, then the taxable amount is potentially up to 85%, although it can be less. It's a little complicated formula. And then the thresholds for a single individual are $25,000 at the lower end and $34,000 at the upper end. Now, again, those numbers have not changed since 1984. So when this tax was introduced, not many people paid it. If we were to index that to inflation as of 2023, a married couple would need to make almost $100,000 to pay taxes, and a single individual would be closer to $76,000. So that would change things quite a bit. As it stands, roughly half of Social Security beneficiaries are paying taxes on those benefits. The other thing to understand is what these taxes do. So the taxes go right back into the Social Security Trust Fund. As it stands, projections are already looking like this Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out in 2034 or so, maybe 2035, maybe as early as 2033. It's going to be difficult politically to cut taxes or cut anything that is going to support that trust fund. And so it's going to be difficult to get bipartisan support for this. Now, Trump did run on it, and it's kind of one of those campaign promises. So maybe Republicans will all line up and back him. But the key thing that's going to make this difficult, so in the Congressional Budget Act of 1974, which introduced budget reconciliation. And this is the process that Congress is going to be using, and the Senate's going to use to probably pass Trump's tax cuts. That's how they overcome the filibuster. Without that, you would need at least 60 votes in the Senate to actually get any bills passed. This bill that allowed for budget reconciliation specifically prevented this budget rule from being used for Social Security. So that means you would need at least 60 votes in support of eliminating Social Security benefit taxes. And again, because the trust fund is set to run out in the future, I think it's going to be a challenge to get bipartisan support for that, even though seniors are a very powerful political group. Now, if we just look at Congressman Thomas Massie, he has introduced a bill every single Congress since 2014 to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. And it has never even made it out of committee. And at least in my quick reading of it, it would appear to kind of hit all the points. So not only would it eliminate those Social Security benefit taxes, but it would call for no decrease to the funding of the Social Security Trust Fund. It would require the government to take money from its general fund or other purposes to replace that loss of taxes into the trust fund. So in theory, that would not hurt Social Security, and it would eliminate the taxes. That would be very popular with seniors. But this bill has gotten no traction in the past, and so it's somewhat hard for me to imagine that this would happen. But here we are in 2025. I've often said take Trump seriously, but don't always take him literally. You may want to take him literally more and more. Some of his things that we didn't think we'd see come to pass have been brought forward, thinking through some of those tariffs and things like that. So, it's always uncertain future, but for your financial planning, I would not count on Social Security benefit taxes to go away. And if they do, then take it as a welcome relief. So anyways, my name is Scott Caulfield. I I'm a CPA, CFA charter holder, and the founder of Sophos Wealth Management. I appreciate you tuning in today, and share this and like it. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks.